Hey guys, I'm Ganeev,
And this is Arjun.
and this is our podcast called A Fighting Life. A Fighting Life is the podcast that me and my peer Arjun, we have created this podcast to talk about fighters and the mental aspect of fighting and just fighting in general. Like people don't understand how it feels to be a fighter, so we just want everyone to know. And most preferably, we want fighters to be safe. So, first question is going to be answered in this short interview is going to be why this name. So, Arjun, would you like to talk a little bit about that?
So, the reason we picked this name, A Fighting Life, it may be smart, like short and simple, but like it's actually expanded into more deeper aspect of it. So, if we talk about, let's say, me and my peer Ganeev, we've been training for about 2-3 years at a place called Thai Kickboxing, and it was one of the greatest experiences of all time. We were exposed to new people, new sport, and just a new way of living a life. Therefore, AKA as known as the fighting life. So we like to target the audience of like teens wanting to start combat sports.
Yeah. So, like Arjun said, combat sports are a whole different world, right? So people like to compare them to other sports, but honestly, as me and Arjun, we've both played different sports in the past, football, basketball. Nothing compares to fighting sports, any fighting sports. But our specific ones we do are kickboxing and Muay Thai, right? So, as the more you progress into the sport and the more the addiction of the sport starts building up, you start realizing that it's more of a lifestyle, right? And not really a sport. So your whole life starts adapting around the sport. So before I'll be making time for other things, but now I'm making time for Muay Thai. I'm trying to incorporate it into my daily life. I'm trying to figure out time how to balance school, how to balance training, how to balance my fitness. So this is something that will stay for me for the most likely for the rest of my life. So that's why it's a very important thing for me.
So some people might be asking, why Muay Thai? Why Muay Thai in general? So honestly, for me and Ganeev, the most accessible tiger branch was right next to us. So we decided to start this sport. And once we got into the sport, we realized it's a whole different world. Because once we started, yeah, we thought it was just like we started the sport mainly to lose our weight, like our extra weight we had. Me and Ganeev were pretty like overweight back then, and because of and because of Muay Thai, me and him were able to progress into something, gain discipline, and lots more other things.
And so like Arjun said, if anyone asks me why Muay Thai, I can go on for hours and hours talking about not even Muay Thai, any combat sports in general, right? I'll give you three main reasons why you should join combat sports, and I think every child, every adult, every person should do a combat sport in their life, at least for a certain period of time. So the first reason is going to be your mental health. Your mental health improves greatly because your confidence increases. Your confidence becomes so much better due to the fact that just you know how to defend yourself, and in all situations you know that like you're an athlete and you are confident and strong. So the stress of the ring compares to the stress of real life, because once you've gone through the feeling that you have before a fight, nothing matches that feeling in this world. You can be doing the greatest thing next, but you won't be afraid because you felt that feeling before. You've overcome that fear, right? Second is obviously going to be your physical health. My physical health has never been better since I was training Muay Thai. There are some injuries every now and then, which we're going to discuss in this podcast a lot because we want our fighters to be safe. But your overall physique improves a lot and your cardiovascular health improves a lot, right? So those are the two main reasons I'd say. And then another reason I'd add on would just be that it's good to know how to defend yourself in today's world. Even if you're with family, even if you're a female, if you're a child, if you're an adult, it doesn't matter. It's very important to know how to defend yourself, just in case. Even if you live in a safe place, like we're in Dubai, we're really gonna get into a street fight or argument on the streets, But it's just important to know how to defend yourself in that case. That builds back to the confidence.
So as Ganeev was talking about our place, the place we live in. Alhamdulillah, we were able to live in Dubai. But let's talk about like a place. Let's say another other than Dubai, America. In high schools, around 25% of students get bullied because of random reasons, like being fat, being obese, just in general, they get bullied, and there's a lot of anxiety and confidence levels going down, which is a very bad thing for like youth mindsets. However, combat sports such as Muay Thai, like we do, or like I can tell from my own personal experience, these combat sports are able to have increased our confidence levels. I like compared to how much like confidence I had before, I have way more confidence now. I can say the same for Ganeev as well.
Yeah. And one other thing I forgot to add was discipline. Discipline, like I have some sort of counselor who's a very important figure in my life. She keeps reminding me that every time I mention something's hard or something's a challenge for me to overcome, she reminds me of what I had to go through because of Muay Thai. I'll discuss more about it, but me and Arjun have both been through very intense injuries, very intense training. So I had to overcome a personal injury of mine where my knee snapped in half, and I had to overcome it to become a fighter, and then I had to fight in a championship. And that whole process was very hard on me, very physically straining, very mentally straining. I lost my confidence many times. I wanted to give up, but I pushed through. And now she uses that as an example for every challenge I have in my life, everything I need to overcome. So that's just another part of aspect of combat sports. You know, people think it's just a sport, it's just a sport. Really, it's not. It's a way of life, which comes back to our name, a fighting life.
We're getting to the end of the podcast. We can obviously talk about Muay Thai for hours, for days if we wanted to. But obviously, we're gonna have to keep that for later. Later, we're gonna be featuring other fighters, other great fighters actually, maybe even better than us. And we would love to talk about how they live their lives, people that are older, younger than us, how they balance their life, how they fight, how they do education, because education is a big part of someone's life, how they lost their weight, how they weight cut. Weight cutting is a big part of Muay Thai. And we just in general talk about how much Muay Thai has affected their life, and we will be featuring them later on into these podcast sessions. So be sure to stay in contact with us.
Like Arjun said, this is just a small introductory podcast. We have big plans for the future. This is just the first episode. We're gonna have many guests on here. We're gonna have professionals on here. We're gonna have medical everyone you can imagine related to do with combat sports. We're gonna have them as a guest on this podcast. And stay tuned to become a better fighter, a better person, and just in general, if you're interested in combat sports, this is a great place to learn. Learning with us, we'll be learning at the same time as you guys. So that's a big benefit. So thanks for watching this episode and stay tuned.